Hello friends, Kisan is here again, and this is the continuation of my previous video tutorial where we had started how to integrate a Spring with Hibernate. So let's complete the pending code. So here I had started. Here you need to mention Hibernate properties as well. So first property is Hibernate dialect. So let's write dialect. So Hibernate dialect. Now as we are using MySQL database, so we need to specify dialect related to MySQL. Hibernate has provided dialect classes for different RDBMS. In our case, our RDBMS is MySQL. So I would say MySQL dialect. So this is the class we need to mention over here. And this class is available in this package arg.hibernate.dialect, and that is available in this jar Hibernate related jars. So basically Hibernate has provided the dialect classes for different RDBMS, because as I said, Hibernate has much more capability than plain JDBC. Hibernate may generate SQL query for you. So when you deal with the plain JDBC, then always you need to write a SQL query. But when you use ORM tool like Hibernate, then Hibernate has capability to generate SQL query for you, and that's why we need to specify the dialect classes so that Hibernate will know what RDBMS you are using, and based on that Hibernate will generate a SQL query for that database itself. So now next property we have something is called HBM2DTL.auto, and here expected values are update, create, drop, or validate. So here update means Hibernate is going to update the existing table. If you specify the create, then Hibernate is gonna drop the existing table and that will recreate again. So update means previous data will be retained, and you can add some more data, you can add some more columns, you can make some modification in DDL, and you can add some rows as well. But if you specify the create, then existing table is going to drop and recreate. And if you want to know about the what is the significance of validate or create drop, then we have a different set of video tutorial for Hibernate, so please refer those tutorial. Now next property I am going to specify something is called show SQL, and here you need to provide the value as true. So boolean value you can specify. By default its value is false. So if we know that Hibernate has capability to generate SQL query, and that SQL query if you want to see on the console while running the application, then you will have to make it true. Now next thing, format_SQL. So when Hibernate generates SQL query, then SQL query if you want to loop into the formatted manner, then you need to specify format SQL as true. We have specified, and there are much more property related to Hibernate, but these are the things which I wanted to consider. So now configuring XML is almost done. Now let's test this our first API, and our first API is create employee, and we don't require this row mapper class. When you deal with the plain JDBC Spring with JDBC, then you require this row mapper class. Now one API we have completed, right? Hibernate.save, and we are trying to save the employee instance into our RDBMS. Now Hibernate very well know what is the table name corresponding to this class, which property is going to map with which column of this table, everything is here. So let's run our client program and try to test the first API, create employee. So here is the client program, And from client program, basically we can make the call to the create employee, and here just make some change. Raj is specify salary 60,000, and let's run it. So cool. First API we have successfully tested. Now Hibernate has generated a insert SQL query. If you go to the database and refresh it, then successfully we have inserted this row. So first API we have completed. Now rest of the API also we need to complete. So second API is get employee by ID. So again we'll make use of Hibernate template. So Hibernate template has a get method. Get method which takes first as the entity class itself. So that is nothing but the employee dot class you need to specify, and second attribute you need to specify the employee ID itself, and this guy will return you employee class. So directly this statement you can write in the return, but for better understanding I have split it into two lines. Now let's test this API as well. So from client program we have a get employee by ID. So if I run it, then Hibernate has fired select query, right? And we are successfully able to fetch the information about the employee whose ID is 2. Let's test another next API. So next is API we have like fetch information about all employees. So go to the doc class, and here we have a API is called get all employees details. So here we can make use of Hibernate template, and here we have a method like find by criteria, but this guy takes detached criteria as the objects. So before that we have to create a detached criteria objects. So detached criteria equals to detached criteria dot, we have a method is called for class, and here you will have to specify your entity class name, and here we are passing this detached criteria, and this guy will return us the list of employee itself. Let's give the name emp list, and this list is going to return by this API. Now go to actually this returns the list of generic objects, so we need to typecast into list of employees. So we can typecast like this. Now go to the client program and we may test it. So this method we are calling, and we got the instance of service, and service is making call to the finally $, and from $, we get the list of employees, and we are printing here. So if I run it, so Hibernate has fired select query for us, and we got the information about the all employees. If you look into the database, so we have 4 employees, and all 4 employees has been fetched. So this way we are completed third API. Now next API we have something is called update employee by email ID. So let's complete this API as well. So when you work with the update employee, if you want to update some record into the database using Hibernate, then first of all you need to fetch that row. So that's why we are fetching this row from the database first, and we are getting this persistence object, and we need to make change in this persistence object. So now set email you can say, and here you can say new email ID you can set over here, and finally again you need to update it. So in this case, Hibernate is going to fire two queries. First would be the select query and then update query. So finally you need to pass this new this entity class for updation. And if I run it, so update employee by ID. So I'm trying to update the email address of the employee whose ID is 2. So this email ID I would like to update. So currently email ID is something like this, right? Jimmy.s2020. So let's make it 30 something like that. And let's run this API and look at the console. Now in this case, Hibernate is going to fire two queries. First, Hibernate is selecting this query, and finally Hibernate is trigger a update query. So basically, when you work with the ORM tool like Hibernate, then Hibernate has to maintain some kind of query that is called session level cache. That has to maintain some caching. So that's why Hibernate is firing two queries. So first Hibernate select, and then after Hibernate is firing this query, and accordingly Hibernate updates the cache as well. So if you go to the here, then you can see Hibernate has updated this row. Now we have one more API to complete, and that is nothing but the delete employee by ID. So let's complete that API as well. So go to here and again deleting employee. So here if you look into the delete API, so delete API, right? So here you can first create the employee instance, and then in this employee instance just set the values for the ID. Set employee ID, and we can make the use of Hibernate template, right? Hibernate template dot we have a delete method, right? And this entity class you can pass which we want to delete from the database. Now go to the client program and try to test it. So basically we look into the database. I would like to delete the employee whose ID is 6. So we are passing 6 over here. If I run it, then Hibernate has to fire a delete query. So Hibernate has fired delete query. Now if I refresh it, then that must be deleted. So that is deleted. So this way we are going to complete almost all APIs related to the CRUD operations in this here. So I hope you guys understood. Now next video tutorial, I'm going to make some change in this project. Basically if you look into the XML file, everything we have configured into the XML. So like we'll see what are the things we can make annotation based rather configuring the XML file. So see you there in next video tutorial, guys. To get if you like this video tutorial, then please provide your valuable comments and subscribe my YouTube channel so that you'll get update about my latest video upload on YouTube channel. Thank you so much.